gets tired, that's a fact I won't deny. Muscles start to shake, breath starts to run dry. But there's a force inside me that don't answer to the ache. It keeps pushing forward with every step I take. The mind can waver, duck and knock and try to stall, but something underneath it all stands taller than it all. That's the piece of me that never learned to quit, the one that keeps advancing even when the body's lit. I've had days the body wanted to lay down and rest, days the mind kept arguing that this ain't worth the test. But something deeper than the muscle, deeper than the thought kept whispering, keep moving, kept saying don't get caught in the temporary weakness that tries to feel permanent. The inner drive, stay steady, stay constant, stay relevant. The body fails eventually, the mind can lose its nerve, but the deepest part of me stays firm on every curve. The body's on the floor. The body's on the floor. Every rep that pushes past the point where I felt done is a rep completed by the part of me that never runs from difficulty, from struggle, from the heavy weight I bear. That deeper drive inside me doesn't calculate or care how hard the moment feels. It just keeps taking one more step. That's the difference between quitting and the promise that I've kept. To something inside that refuses to lay still while there's a next step waiting. I will find the wheel. Bigger than the fatigue that tries to slow the pace, bigger than the moments where I doubt I'll finish the race. That inner force don't measure difficulty the same. It just keeps moving forward, indifferent to the pain. I don't rely on motivation showing up on time. I rely on something steady and something more sublime. I'm constant in my chest that answers every call, regardless of how tired, regardless of the fall. Every rep confirms the part of me that never breaks. Every hard set finish is the proof my spirit makes. The body can't complain, the mind can lose its grip, but something underneath keeps forward on the trip. I don't need every part of me convinced before I move. I just need the deepest part still burning, still to prove that while it stays lit, while it stays alive inside, there's always another step available to strive. Body gets tired, the mind can start to bend, but there's a force inside that stays firm to the end. It doesn't argue with the difficulty I face, it just keeps moving forward, keeps holding the pace. While that fire stays burning, while that force stays true, there's always one more step, always something to pursue. My spirit doesn't quit when the body starts to fall, it just keeps finding one more step. That's the answer to it all. The body's on the floor, There's a light inside me that the darkest days can't touch. It flickers sometimes, but it never fades that much. Hope isn't loud, hope is quiet and it stays burning through the hardest of my lowest days. Faith isn't it the absence of the storm I have to face. It's the light that keeps on burning in the exact same place. I walked through seasons where the shadows felt too strong, but something kept on glowing, kept on carrying me along. Every dark season taught me the light don't need the sun. It burns from somewhere deeper, from a fire that's never done. Determination keeps the flame alive when hope feels thin. That quiet, steady burning is the fire I carry within. I've had nights I couldn't see a single step ahead, but the light stayed lit regardless of the doubt I fed. It doesn't ask for perfect conditions to survive. It just keeps on burning as long as I'm alive. Push through in the hardest of my days. It's fuel that keeps the fire burning through the darkest maze. I don't need the world to see the light that's burning strong. I just need it steady, need it, got to need it long enough to carry me through whatever comes my way. A new beginning waits as long as that light don't fade away. That's the promise that I carry through every single fight. As long as I keep breathing, there's a new beginning in the light. Bigger than the darkness trying to dim what I hold. Bigger than the seasons where the story felt too cold. The light don't ask permission from the storm to keep on burning. It just stays alive inside me, always steady, always turning. Every hard day survive, that's fuel back to the flame. Every choice to keep believing keeps the fire the same. I don't need the perfect circumstance to keep it lit. I just need to keep on walking, keep refusing to quit. Every wreck confirms the light that never goes I lift the weight, I lift my courage off the ground. Before I count the reps, I count the faith that I have found. Muscle just executes what the heart already agreed. That's the actual training, that's the champion's creed. I don't measure strength by what my body can display. I measure it by the heart that showed up every single day. Discipline and faith and courage built the frame you see. Before I ever lift the weight, I lift the best of me. Before I ever touch the bar, before the weight leaves the rack, I lift something heavier first, something I can't put back down. Once it's been raised, once it's standing tall and true. Courage is the heaviest lift that I ever had to do. Muscle just responds to what the heart already decided. Strength was never physical, first it was always faith guided. I don't walk into the gym carrying just my frame. I carry a heart that refuses to stay the same. Discipline is something that shows up when I feel inspired. It shows up every single day, whether I'm rested or tired. That's the actual muscle that never gets the credit due. The heart that keeps on showing up when motivation's door. Faith walks in before the first rep ever gets attempted. I don't need the proof laid out before my heart's invested. Every champion I've studied had this in common first. A heart that wouldn't quit before the body quenches thirst. The will to keep continuing when the body wants to stop. Lives inside our heart that's been trained to never drop. It's God, never fold under pressure, never been a need to the difficulty. Trying to convince it can't be done, completed, conquered. However hard it feels, the champion's heart operates on a different set of deals than the ones the body tries to negotiate alone. Heart decides the outcome long before the weight is thrown. Bigger than the muscle that everybody wants to see. Bigger than the trophy or the version of me they perceive. The actual conquest happens in the chest before the arms. Courage assembled quietly is where the real strength forms. Every single champion built their body on a base of heart that never wavered, never lost its resolute pace. I train the invisible power before I train with shows. That's the actual difference, that's the secret no one knows. The courage that I lifted long before. Every heart set finish walks me through a heavier door than the one the barbell offers, than the one the weight provides. The heart that keeps on choosing to continue, never hide from the difficulty, the doubt, the moments it feels weak. It just keeps on lifting faith, keeps on choosing to speak. Louder than the tired, louder than the version scared to try. Champion's heart don't quit just because the body wants to cry. Before I lift the weight, I lift my courage off the ground. Before I count the reps, I count the faith that I have found. Muscle just executes what the heart already agreed. That's the actual training, that's the champion's creed. I don't measure strength by what my body can display. I measure it by the heart that showed up every single day. Discipline and faith and courage built the frame you see. Before I ever lift the weight, I lift the best of me. I lift the best of me. Courage has to find a word. Fear speaks loud, I never said it doesn't have a voice. It shows up early, tries to make the final choice. But speaking loud was never the same as having the same. My courage answers back and courage leads the way. Fear can knock as hard as it wants on every door. It doesn't get the vote on what I'm walking toward. The decision stays mine regardless of the noise. Fear can shout all day, it doesn't get the poise. Every time fear rises up trying to take control, my courage rises higher, that's the actual goal. Not silencing the fear completely, that's not the fight. It's making sure my courage always speaks with more might. I don't wait for fear to leave before I make my move. I move straight through it, and that's the only proof that courage was never about the absence of the fear. It's about which voice gets louder when the moment's here. Fear tries to convince me that it holds the final line, tries to make me think his word is written and it's a sign. But every time I move despite it, I prove it wrong. Every step I take through fear makes my courage strong. I don't need the fear gone before I start to climb. I need my courage louder, and that takes finished underneath the fear zone roof. Courage doesn't wait for comfortable, doesn't wait for calm. It shows up shaking sometimes and it still moves on. I don't measure courage by the absence of the shake. I measure it by moving forward for my own sake. If it can have its opinion, fear can state its case. But my courage makes the final call in every place. Fear speaks loud, but courage speaks the final word. Every doubt that fear was shouted, courage has heard. And answer back with movement, answer back with fight. Fear doesn't decide my steps, fear doesn't know my light. I let it talk, I let it knock, I let it raise its voice. But the decision on my path was always my own choice. My courage speaks louder than any doubt absurd. Fear doesn't have the final word.
Courage is the final word.
Courage has the final word. I wasn't shaped by accident, it wasn't built without a plan. Every piece of who I am was designed to make a stand against the exact obstacles that try to keep me down. Purpose isn't something that I chase around this town. It's something that already lives inside the way I'm made. Fear was never meant to be the currency I paid. I wasn't born to freeze the moment difficulty shows. I was born to move directly through it, and everybody knows. Every obstacle that's ever stood in front of me was never a stop sign, it was just a door I had to see differently than the way the world convinced me it should look. Difficulties a chapter, never the entire book. I stopped treating hardship like a verdict on my worth. Started treating it like proof of the exact reason for my birth. Every wall that shows up gets approached the exact same way. Now there's a place to stop but a place to push through today. Obstacle I pushed through changed me on the way. Not just got me to the other side, but remade my display of what I'm actually capable of handling and bearing. Transformation happens in the pushing, not the wearing down the hope, not the giving up, not the standing still. Every hard thing conquered adds another layer to my will. I'm not the same version who first faced the wall ahead. Every obstacle I passed through changed something in my head.
Bigger than the version who once thought the wall was fixed. Bigger than the doubt that told me I was over my head. Overmixed it with difficulty too heavy for the hands that I was given. Every single victory as a race, and I keep living this exact way. Refusing every obstacle, the final say. Victory was never handed, victory was earned each day. I passed through what the world calls impossible to face, because I wasn't built to stop, I was built to keep my pace.
Confirms a version built to overcome the wall. Every hard set finished is a legacy I leave for all who watch me pass through difficulty without a single stall. I don't fear the obstacles, I don't fear the coming fall. Cause fall is never final when the purpose stays alive. Every generation watching learns that they can also thrive through the exact same difficulty they tried to hold them back. That's the legacy I'm building, that's the only track. I wasn't made to stop the moment difficulty appears. I was made to walk directly through it past the doubt and fear. Purpose set the course, the challenge only proved it true. Transformation showed me who I'm capable of walking through. Everyone that ever stood became a door I opened wide. Victory was never lucky, victory was earned inside. Every hard thing I overcame becomes the legacy I leave. I was born to overcome, that's the only truth I believe. watched from the sideline longer than I care to say. Watched other people winning while I trained day after day. Never once complained about the seat I had to hold. Every rep I banked in silence, every story left untold. That season with the version standing here right now. Every quiet sacrifice was teaching me exactly how to handle what's arriving, how to carry what I've earned. Every year I waited was a lesson that I learned. Everybody else, I used to building something deeper down inside myself. Every rep, every discipline, every early morning grind was preparation for the moment I was gonna find. I wasn't jealous of the shine that other people got. I was building my own fire, quiet, steady and hot, enough to burn through anything that tried to hold me back. It's the moment all that preparation gets its payback. This the day of waiting finally turns to walking through. This the moment everything I built becomes a proof. I don't need permission for the turn that's coming now. I earned this exact position, I already know how to carry what arrives without letting it slip away. Every year I waited led directly to today. Nobody's taking what I came here to collect. Every step I prepare for demands nothing less than respect. Black, 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 black. Bigger than the version who was watching from the side. Bigger than the patience that I carried, that I held with pride. Every single rep banked while nobody was around. Converges in this moment, in this exact ground. I don't shrink from what's arriving, I expand to fill the space. Every year of preparation shows up on my face. This ain't luck, this ain't chance, this is earned through and through. Every quiet sacrifice made sure this moment's due. Every rep confirms the moment finally arriving here. Every hard year waiting sharpened everything I hold dear. I don't apologize for taking what I came to claim. Every single sacrifice attached itself to my name. Nobody's pulling this away, nobody's taking my turn. It's the exact position that I fought so hard to earn. I watched, I waited, I prepared without a single complaint. Now the moment's mine complete, now there's no restraint. It's my turn, move, no more waiting. No more waiting. No one takes this, I paid for it. Rep by rep, year by year. What I build stays, what I earn hits. I'm here now, straight through that door. No handout, no debate. This is mine. Every promise kept, every cut, every climb. Right here, right now, I took my time. Now I take my space. Every loss I carry built a version standing here. Every setback taught my hands to never freeze in fear. I remember every night I wanted to lay down. Remember every moment the whole world felt like a frown. But none of that was wasted, none of it was in vain. Every single battle built the muscle, built the frame that's holding up the man who's standing in this fight. Every scar behind me let me hear into the light, 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 light. Something shifts inside me when the moment starts to close. The fear that used to whisper starts to lose the voice it chose. My mind wakes up completely sharp and clear and loud. Standing taller than the doubt that used to make me bow. This the instant everything I trained for comes alive. Every rep, every sacrifice, every day I chose to strive. Was building toward this second, toward this exact place. Fear steps back completely when I stand and take my space. It's the moment I answer, it's the moment I rise. Confidence exploding, courage burning in my eyes. Destiny don't call twice, I heard it loud and clear. Every doubt evaporates the second that is here. I don't hesitate, I don't calculate the risk. I move with everything I built, I move fast, I move brisk. Every ounce of preparation converges right now. It's the moment I was training for, and I know how. Bigger than the moment I imagined it would be. Bigger than the version I could picture inside of me. Every failure that came before just added to the height. Every stumble was a lesson preparing me for tonight. I don't shrink from the magnitude of what's in front of me. I expand to meet it, I become what I need to be. This the culmination, this the payoff of the fight. Every dark hour led directly to this light. Every rep complete came before was preparation for the moment. Walking through this door, I don't waste the opportunity. Stand, I'm right in front. I meet it with everything. I meet it full in blood. No hesitation, no second guessing, no delay. Destiny showed up once and I'm not turning it away. Every single piece of who I am converges here. Standing in this moment, standing cut from everything I bled for. This the taste of victory that ever built alone. Not given, not by luck, but earned down to the bone. Every early morning, every rep nobody saw. Built the exact foundation for this moment, for this law that says to prepare, don't wait for chance to knock them twice. They answer when it's called and they pay the exact price. I stand in now complete, having given everything I had. This the moment I was built for. This the fight, I'm glad. The fight, I'm glad. Yeah. The moment came, I answered. I didn't hesitate or pause. Every failure, every setback served the greater cause of building someone ready when the destiny arrived. Ready to meet the moment, ready, fully alive. This ain't luck, this is preparation. Meeting the exact time when the calling comes around, when everything's aligned. I gave it everything I had, I held nothing in reserve. The moment called my name and I answered with the courage I deserve. There was a version of me trapped inside somebody else's eyes, living for the not the common thing, approval in the prize that everybody else decided I was worthy to receive. Fear of disappointing kept the real me underneath. I moved careful, moved quiet, moved exactly how they want. Never trusted what was burning underneath, never let it harm me. Enough to follow it, enough to let it lead. I lived afraid of who I'd be if I finally broke free. Then came a moment, everything shifted underneath my skin. Stopped asking what would please them, started asking what was within. Waited patient all those years for me to finally look inside instead of outside. Inside the closed book, I never opened, scared of what I'd find written there. Turns out what was written was a strength beyond compare to anything I borrowed from the world's approval line. The moment I discovered it, I knew that it was mine. Discovering and moving between knowing what was there and actually proving that I trusted it enough to build my life around the fire I discovered, the strength that I had found. I stopped waiting on motivation, showing up on time. Started trusting what I found was more than just a rhyme. Over fleeting feeling, passing through a moment's spark. It was permanent, it was steady, was a light against the dark. Bigger than the fear that kept me quiet all those years. Bigger than the need for approval, bigger than the tears I cried waiting for permission that was never gonna come. Action was the only bridge from waking up to becoming someone who no longer needed motivation to begin. The soul had already started, the body just moved in behind it. Followed quickly once the spirit led the way. Every hard rep became a celebration, not a delay. Every rep confirmed the freedom found when the soul woke. Every hard set finishes a chain that finally broke. Free from needing approval, free from waiting on the spark. Free from a version of me living scared inside the dark. I don't chase motivation, I don't chase the crowd's applause. I move because my soul's awakened, that becomes the cause. Behind everything I build now, behind every single stride. Freedom isn't something given, freedom lives inside.
When my soul woke up completely, my body simply followed through. No more waiting on approval, no more needing something new. To motivate the movement, the fire was already lit. Fear released, it's good completely and I never looked back at it. This discovery became the doorway, faith became the frame. Action turned to vision, real freedom sealed the flame. My soul woke up one morning and refused to sleep again. My body just kept up with everything that lives within. Live within.
There's a fire that lives inside every single one of us. Some let it dim to nothing, treat it like it's not a must. To feed it, to tend it, to keep it burning through the years. I chose different, I chose to feed mine through the fears, through the doubt. Through every season trying to put it out. Purpose is the fuel that keeps it burning without a doubt. Every single day I add another log onto the flame. That fire's been the reason I keep answering my name. Faith is what I use to keep the embers glowing bright. When the world around me tries to steal away the light, discipline's a structure that surrounds the flame I hold, keeps it burning steady even when the winds blow cold. I've watched other people let their fire fade to smoke, watched them give it up. The second life became a joke. On their patience, on their purpose, on the dream they used to chase. I refuse to let that story be the one that I embrace. Go! Try to smother was burning in my chest. This became another reason that I fed it with my best effort. My discipline, my faith that stayed unshaken through the fire. Doesn't ask for perfect conditions to stay true. It just means me showing up to tend it every day, regardless of how dark the season, regardless what they say. Losses aren't the end, and when the flame's still burning strong, they just throwing that test if what I'm building lasts that long. Bigger than the setback, trying to snuff the flame I hold. Bigger than the coldest season, bigger than the story told by everybody watching, waiting for the fire to die. I keep it burning brighter every single time they try to convince me that the flame's now worth the daily fight. Purpose keeps it burning, faith keeps it burning bright. Discipline's the fuel that never lets it run too low. Every hard defeat just teaches this fire how to grow. Every rep confirms a fire that's still burning in my chest. Every heart set finished proves I gave the flame my best. I don't let a single loss convince me it's the final say. The fire that lives inside me finds a reason every day to keep on burning brighter than the darkness trying to spread. Purpose, faith, and discipline keep this flame completely fed. No defeat is final while there's still a fire alive. That's the actual difference between the ones who quit and thrive.
This fire never quits, no matter what comes in its way. Every setback adds more fuel and turns the dark to day. Purpose keeps it steady, faith won't let it fall apart. Discipline keeps holding every corner of my heart. All of this together keeps it moving, burning bright. No defeat can hold me while this flame is still inside. Enough to lead me forward, enough to keep me strong. This fire never goes out, it's been burning all along.